the main event, which, like I said, a lot to get to here, and I'm glad we have plenty of time because I want to spend as much as possible. This is the
Yeah,
fight.
interesting
Like,
division. Interesting division. This fight
yeah,
was great.
implications.
I didn't agree with any of the way the judges scored it, personally.
I didn't even write. I'm glad you wrote that. Did you write them down or no?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great, because I actually fucked that up. I was so
50, it
like
was
caught up in
50,
the moment.
50-45 from two of them,
Oh,
and
that's
then
right.
one judge scored it 48-47 Felder.
You know what? I didn't agree with either of them either. Yeah, this will be really fun to get to. So let's go up to storyline, hype, and then we'll dive into X's and O's round by round.
Cool.
Um, so yeah, as we alluded to a little bit earlier, this fight was originally supposed to be Islam Makhachev, which is like, I know there's like a bunch of people claiming this, but he's like the legit Khabib protege, and
Right.
in 155 even same weight class and everything. So he's a badass man. But yeah, this was supposed to be Islam Makhachev versus Rafael Dos Anjos, and Makhachev was ranked 11. Was that correct? Or 12, somewhere in that ballpark.
Makhachev
Oh,
12, and then Felder was 7.
yeah, yeah. So, and it's still a mystery, right? Or has that been released? Why Makachev missed this? They were
He
kind of being
got
murky about
he
it.
got some sort of infection,
Oh, okay.
like a skin infection or something.
Stafford, something in that kind
Right.
of
Yeah.
realm. All right, yeah, that's you can't really fight with that. That's not him being a pussy or anything. Which obviously he's not a pussy. I'm just saying
Yeah. Just like
for
medically, you
anybody.
can't do that.
For anybody, any casual out there who's at home eating Cheetos saying, "Oh, fucking, you should have fought." Like, there's certain shit that it's not even safe or conducive to do. But I'm sure he'll be itching to get back in there soon. But yeah, so the thing about it was he backed out 5 days before, maybe 6 days
Right, which
before
sucks.
the card, and they were obviously the main event on this card. This whole card was built around him. So. And 155 is a weight class that guys cut a lot of weight to get to. So like the pool of guys that are like qualified enough to fight Dos Anjos that can make that weight cut and not do it as a catch weight. That was like a short list of guys. And then Felder was happened to be training for a triathlon, so he was getting really lean and in shape, or just regardless. And Paul Felder, you may know, has been the announcer on many of these fight nights, and I really enjoy him. At this point, he's pretty much my favorite one. And as far as broadcasters on the ringside play by play, but yeah, so Paul Felder, ranked number 7 lightweight, steps up on 5 days' notice, pretty much out of the booth and into the octagon, and saves the show, right? It's
Yeah, it
pretty
was crazy.
phenomenal storyline.
Check this out. He said he got the call, got faxed the contract, signed it, sent it back, went for a run,
Yeah,
weighed himself 178.
178, and so like in
5 days to go.
Yeah,
Like,
well, 5 days before fight, but the weigh-in's the day before the fight, so really he had like
yeah,
what, 4.5 days
yeah,
to
four and
cut.
a half. Uh-huh.
But how much was that? 23 pounds or whatever?
20,
23 pounds.
23 from the after that run.
Yeah, after that. So he had just So he was essentially at like 180 before
Well,
that run.
22 because he can make 156. But shout out to him for being a savage and doing it.
Yeah, badass, and he was the first one to weigh in too, which is just like a
Yeah,
point. He didn't have to
which he
do
said he
that
would
lightweight.
be.
Yeah, just savage, just proving a point, putting an exclamation point on it, being a legend as he is. And
And in the post-fight interview, he made reference to that, like, make the weight.
yeah, he called out essentially. He
Abdul
called
Razak
out
Al Hassan.
exactly. Yep. And but yeah, so like I said, it was just so fun. I mean, no other sport allows the opportunity for current main announcers or broadcasters to go participate in the sport. You're never going to see a football game with Troy Aikman. He comes out of the booth. I'm sure the Cowboys would actually like that right now, but he's not coming out of the booth to start the quarterback. And Shaq and Kenny and Chuck sure as hell ain't about to chart on no hardwood anytime soon. So it's just a unique thing that the UFC presents, which is super fun in my opinion. It's really cool. Gives a lot of people a rooting interest, and it also, so we've been riding Felder's dick, but I mean Rafael Dos Anjos, absolute legend himself, been in the UFC for 12 years, fought in multiple weight classes.
Coming back down to lightweight, where he used to be champion finally again. Like, he's trying to, like, return to the kingship, essentially.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he was the minus 200 favorite in this fight. Like, Vegas liked his odds.
Man, if you look at the list last night, I just did myself the refresher of looking up the list of guys who Rafael Dos Anjos has
Yeah.
fought.
Murderers.
It's a who's who of MMA, like legit, because it's spanning
Ferguson,
multiple
Usman.
generations, multiple weight classes. Like it is literally like an all-star team of his opponents. And
Look, seriously.
And like anybody he's lost to, you're like, oh well, Jesus
That makes
Christ,
sense.
how can that fall to? Like he was fighting up a weight class against guys like Covington and Usman on their rise. And
Right.
it's like, who can really hold that against you? Like, so I don't know. He's a bad motherfucker himself.
I'm all in with that. Like, I actually looked up his like record as well because people were talking about he's lost 4 of his last 5, and I was like, all right, well, let's look at his record. Man, it's like fighting champions for the last like 15 years.
Yeah, I think he's fought
or
like
championship quality
Hall of
guys.
Famers. Like
right.
Future Hall of Famers. Like everybody he's fought damn near is like a future Hall of Famer.
Right, like obviously RDA is a monster, so.
Yeah. So
he probably should be favored here. Like, to be honest.
Yeah, he was, and that's why I had multiple people because this storyline was getting around. ESPN was promoting it. I had a few homies text me like, "Who you think Felder can do it?" And my response was consistently not hindsight 2020. My response to all the homies that texted me was, "Man, my heart says Felder, but my brain says RDA." Like,
yeah, same. Like I would like Felder have won.
To bet against RDA.
I thought RDA just posed a lot of stylistic advantages here. Like, Felder's a good striker, but RDA strikes really well, but also can grapple his ass off, which is essentially what started happening. Now, Felder did a good job to get back up, but RDA was able to get those takedowns, honestly, pretty often.
Yep. So we'll officially get into the X's and O's now. Paul Felder, 7th ranked lightweight, was a plus 170 underdog here. Versus Rafael Dos Anjos, minus 200 favorite. And I think that probably had a lot to do with the short notice and the fast weight cut. I think maybe if it was a full camp, the odds might have been a little closer maybe. But I think they were right in lockstep with like that. Vegas had this one kind of nailed on the head. But yeah, we'll get into it, man. Also, quick note: RDA second most fight time, octagon time, like second most.
Yeah, behind Frank Yeager.
Behind Frank Yeager, so that's just impressive, and that lets you know how much of a legend he is right then and there. Really, really interesting stat. So proves also proves that he's been in a lot of fights, and that it proves that he can go the distance like it's nothing.
Right.
So so round 1, I gave it to Felder mainly because he actually cut RDA.
Really?
Yeah, he cut. I thought that was impressive. And I know those older guys have a lot of scar tissue, but I don't know. He cut RDA in round 1, and I was impressed by it. Maybe I was too impressed by it, but I was impressed by it. I gave round 1 to Felder.
I did note that it was a tough first round to score, I thought, but I actually leaned toward Dos Anjos on that. I just thought that, like, when he got the takedown and, like, he was just a little more aggressive in the fight. I agree Felder was landing some good shots, but RDA did get some control time in the first round, like I think a minute and a half almost. So
yeah, for sure. But like, see, to me, a minute and a half is just below that threshold of like that wins you the round. Like if you would have like probably gotten to 2.5, I'd been like, oh yeah, that's it. But if you get a guy control for 1.5 minutes, but then on the feet he pieces you and your eyes bleeding in the first round, it's like. You know what I mean? But yeah, close round for sure. That's cool that we're presenting both sides of it.
Oh yeah.
Listeners. But yeah, and then so round 2, how'd you do round 2?
So I wrote round 2 is super close, but I was leaning toward Felder in round 2.
Holy shit! I was leaning towards RDA.
Okay.
That takedown, and then that like it's funny. My notes for the second round almost match your notes for the first round. The takedown and then like that aggressive clinch. I felt like he was just getting nasty with it in the clinch and just was. I thought also he was the stronger man, which makes sense. He used to fire 170. Felder had the short weight cut. So it makes sense. But I thought he was the physically stronger man in there, and it was kind of
for some reason I just felt like Felder was like he stuffed a few takedowns that round. And I feel like RDA was just trying to grapple that round, and then Felder was just kind of tagging him up on the feet at that point. So that's kind of why I was leading Felder. But, like, RDA did get those takedowns like you were talking about. It's a hard round to score again.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm just so glad we're presenting kind of both arguments for the listeners.
Funnily enough, we haven't scored 19-19 after 2, but not the
but
rounds are
not the
different.
same, which is how the judges can end up having the same scorecard, but still seeing the fight taking place differently, like we were
Right.
alluding to earlier. So yeah, that's really interesting how that can happen. But you're right, we both have the same score, even though we
So
scored it differently.
so how'd you score 3?
Three, man, for Rafael, mainly just because of
Me
how he
too.
ended the round. There's a
Me
strong
too.
grappling finish, ended on top.
Thought he
I
looked a little more in control that round.
more in control. But it was so close. It was a close round. Like none of these rounds were like, I don't feel like dominant for either guy. Like they were all really hard rounds, really close, hard, competitive rounds. And then round 4, I actually gave to Felder,
Me too.
which is badass because
I had it 2-2 going into the 5th.
early in the fight he was getting dominated in clinch situations, and then in round 4 he flipped the script, and actually the clinch was some of his most effective
Work
work
in the
in the whole fight. That
For
was
sure.
some of his brightest moments were right there in that 4th round in the clinch. So I thought that was kind of badass. Just even like a lot of these fights are mental, psychological, like saying like, like you ain't big dogging me in the clinch every time. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I thought that was really cool. So yeah, I gave round 4, just for everybody keeping track. Is that the first round we agreed on, or did we agree on 3 too?
We agreed on 3. 3 to RDA, 4 to Felder, but we flipped 1 and 2.
Okay, so
But we still have it tied
to
up
this
going.
point, we have only 1 round to Felder, right? Both
2.
of us? Oh, 2. You're right.
Because you scored.
Because
you scored the first to him. You scored the 1st and 4th for Felder, and I scored the 2nd and 4th.
Yep. All right. Cool.
Wait.
Yep. So we both had it tied up going into round 5, correct?
Right.
Which is
Still seeing it differently, which is but seeing it the same but differently. Interesting.
But differently, very interesting. Yeah, definitely. And then I don't know. You want to go
But I
first
thought
in round 5?
I thought RDA dominated the 5th, in my opinion.
Yes.
I thought it was like clear cut to
The
him.
ground and pound was pretty gnarly. That was the 5th. Whenever the giant forehead cut was open up, or oh, bless you, brother.
Whew, sorry, my bad.
It's all good, man. But yeah, so it was the 5th when the Felder forehead got
that was when
Felder.
Felder like looks up, he like touches it, and he goes, "Fuck." And
Yeah,
then, like keeps fighting. It was so funny. Like he's so like present and aware when he fights.
so composed, so present, so not overwhelmed when in positions that other fighters would be scared and overwhelmed in. Yeah, man. But yeah, you're right. 5 was definitely RDA. So we both had it. What does that math equal out?
48-47 RDA for us.
Yes. We arrived at the conclusion along different pathways, but we both arrived at the same answer.
No judge agreed with us on that scoring
At all.
Like 2 judges saw every round to RDA.
Which
I disagree with entirely, dude. I thought the 4th was clear cut to Felder. And I said in my notes, I'm not mad if I see a 49-46.
Yes, you're right. You're right. That would make a lot more sense. For sure. I think Felder.
And one judge scored at 48-47 for Felder. I don't know what 3 rounds Felder would have won. I guess 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah.
Which I disagree with.
No, yeah, I do disagree with. But
we disagree for different reasons.
Yeah.
Which is funny, so we both do agree with that judge.
In a weird way, if you like combined our scorecards, we would agree with them. Yeah,
right.
It's so interesting, man. But I mean, the fact. So what we're arriving at too again, we have another squirrely split decision on our hands.
This fight card was super weird. Like it was decision heavy, but weird decisions. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Another old man word I like to bust out: squirrely and him haw.
Squirrely and him haw.
Coming at you, country today, y'all. Don't forget where I'm from. But,
country and covered like a Waffle House.
man. Oh man, I miss Waffle House, bro. But fuck Denny's.